Good evening, everyone. Ads here from Unity Trading Group. Welcome to your Wednesday night update. Before we begin, tap that like button, tap the subscribe button if you can, and of course, tick the little bell to stay updated on all of our future content that is coming soon. Happy to be back tonight. Looking at BTC, so that bounce that we spoke about last night at around that 54k did come to fruition. However, there's a little bit more we have to speak about in terms of this tonight. So in order for us to confidently say that we're going to get back to 61k, and I'm sure we will eventually, but in order to say with some confidence that we are moving up instead of moving down, we need to start breaking these Fibonacci levels that we're observing on the chart currently. So the first one obviously is the 38.2. If we are to see price action to stay above the 38.2 with some force, and I'm not saying close and then fall below in the next 4 hours, if we do confidently close and then continue to move up towards that 23.6, or even the top level of supply that we have there, that would be a good sign for BTC. But currently, we're observing this price struggling to stay above this 38.2. We're struggling to stay above the 50 RSI level. And of course, the CCI and the steamroller indicator aren't looking great either. So tonight, if we don't decide, or we don't seemingly move above the 38 and stay above the 38, I'm afraid the 50 again, or the $54,000 mark for BTC is probably next on the cards again. And if we don't get a hold there, it will be down to 51 or even 50k, which we were observing the next level of demand falling in between those two areas there, those key levels. That's really all for BTC. There's not much else to really say about it in the way of this 4-hour time frame. We're really trending below the 50, and of course our steamroller and our CCI are not looking great, and of course we're not staying above the 38. So it really seems like we could see BTC back at 54k before we see any other substantial movement to the upside, and that would be a decent play for BTC, seemingly that we have moved from $48,000 or $46,000 to 62. I think a more warranted pullback, even towards our 61.8 at 52,194, would be still very healthy for Bitcoin. So we'll observe that over the next couple of days, but they're my thoughts for BTC currently. So very nice, short and sweet, but looking like that for BTC. Ethereum. So for Ethereum, not much more to say than what I said last night. We are really trending towards that 38.2 again for ETH, in the same sort of direction that we're seeing BTC USD. In the same sort of fashion, we are underneath the 50 RSI, and we have been trending below this since around about the 15th of March. So is 1725 another level, or a level that's going to be on the cards again for Ethereum? It's more than likely looking that way, and I think it's going to follow suit with BTC over the next probably couple of days towards the end of the week, and I think that would be still a decent level to look at for Ethereum. The market in general, again, and I've said this many times in the past, is still bullish. The sentiment is still to the upside. So taking advantage of these, these lulls or, sideways movements in the market where we can, have our lower buys in and have our sink bids in to really capture those lower prices is a fantastic opportunity. So if you were to be looking at Ethereum, I'd be looking obviously towards that 1720 mark again. And of course, the 61.8 at 1630 looks okay to me as well if we do move past this level of demand. And of course, back down below towards that 61.8. So looking like that might be on the cards for ETH. Of course, it can change at any time. We could pump. Not saying that we won't. However, looking at the price action, looking at our trending indicators, our moving oscillators, it looks like we'll test that 1720 mark for a second time. Moving on, we'll have a look at ADA USDT. Now with ADA, we were on the money the other time that we spoke about this. I think it was not last night, the night before. where we were looking at a hidden level of demand there. We were looking at the right-hand side of our level of demand, and I'll turn gravy train off so we can see. So we had the retest to the right-hand side, and of course, we've had a double bottom scenario or double bottom event on ADA since then. That was terrible. 1 and 2. So moving up to the upside was the clearest option for ADA, and we did explode out of that level, creating a decent leg up from that level of demand at $1. The next level that I'd be looking for ADA realistically is $1.36 or $1.35. That's the most recent or next level or highest quality level of supply that we're currently looking at on this chart. And I would think that that retest, that wick retest that we observed here on the 1st of March is a fantastic testament of that area or that level of supply existing. So I think in terms of a swing level, swing low to high, I think that $1.35 mark is next on the cards for ADA. We are getting stuck seemingly on this level of liquidity on the left-hand side. However, we do have a better, higher quality level of liquidity up the top there. So that's the area that I would think it would be moving towards. Next one I have a look at tonight, I'll keep it a little bit shorter tonight, is XRP. So XRP testing and moving through our most relevant level of supply on the chart there. And if I'm to be honest, I wouldn't be looking at this wick, because this wick was seemingly a test of liquidity to the upside. And of course, we were met with fair selling pressure, and we did close below and retest the level of supply up the top there to confirm it does still exist. So in the way, or in the same fashion that I'm looking at BTC and Ethereum, I'm looking at XRP, and a little bit more conservative in my opinion for XRP currently. But if we are to see its return to any sort of mean, it would be around that 45 cent mark or 44.4 at around that 50 Fibonacci. That lines up very nicely with a very short-term, low quality level of demand there. So that's on the cards, especially for XRP, seeing that we are currently over exhausted in terms of our buying pressure now, seemingly that we got rejected quite nicely off that level of demand, and we were met with some fair selling pressure when we got towards that 52 or that negative 27 extension there. Moving on, have a look at the DXY. So the DXY is a regulated market, and this is not financial advice, just ideas and opinions of Team UTG. Of course, with the DXY, we are observing a very similar sort of fashion, very similar sort of market in terms of how much volume is coming into this, like we are observing with BTC, Ethereum, where we're moving just seemingly to the right-hand side. This is no different. You can see with a lot of this liquidity that we're observing over the last day or so, we haven't moved anywhere. We're just been moving to the right-hand side, slowly climbing, slowly making wicks to the upside, and reaching for that low level or lower quality level of supply that we've got drawn in there at around that 92.1. With this DXY, the liquidity or the direction, the market direction has been quite sporadic. We've been moving to the upside, having great pullbacks, and now we're seemingly making a lower high, and that could come to fruition when we come and retest that 92.1 level. And that's what I'm expecting to happen. We're quite exhausted if we're looking at steamroller seemingly on the bottom there, and if we turn on gravy train, we could probably see that we're getting rejected on a cloud resistance level now. And that's more than likely where we're finding it getting held up. So there's all the options to move to the downside towards that 50 mark at 91.41. But that's going to come to fruition tonight. We're really seeing if we're going to get rejected here on the upper level of supply, or we're going to move down from here, from this gravy train cloud resistance, and move towards that 23 and 38 levels here. So not much to say here in terms of the DXY and what we're observing. All I'm saying is we need to wait for a little bit more confirmation. We're in no man's land between two key levels. So I would like to see it get rejected here or move past this level of supply that I'm observing. But that really concludes the my thoughts on the DXY. It really states or really says we have been moving towards the right hand side for quite some time, and I'm waiting for a break either side of that. Thank you all for joining me tonight. I'll be back tomorrow evening, of course, a little bit later, unfortunately, tomorrow. If it's not me, it'll be Ty. But thank you all for joining me, and I'll see you then. Bye for now.